Well, Sarah and Csaba, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
We're here at the Canadian Seed Growers Association annual meeting in St. John's. You just spoke about seed certification systems around the globe. You were invited here by CSGA to be part of a panel. This is a big topic, seed certification systems around the world. It's huge. I don't know where to start, but I have to start somewhere. So I was going to ask Sarah, first of all, you are with the Association of Official Seed Certifying Agencies based in the United States, better known as AOSCA. How does AOSCA collaborate with a group like CSGA to strengthen international seed standards and harmonization?
Sure. CSGA is one of AOSCA's member agencies. So within AOSCA, we have 45 U.S. agencies in 7 participating countries. And CSGA serves a large capacity for AOSCA as Doug serves on our board of directors. He's actually our vice president currently. And they also serve in an advisory capacity to AOSCA. So with that and with the projects that Doug is involved with, he's able to really be an active part in some of the standard setting processes that we go through and other exciting projects that we've been working on.
Csaba, you're with the OECD seed schemes, which plays a big role in seed certification systems around the globe. There are many countries with seed certification systems, Canada being just one. How does the OECD seed schemes address emerging challenges in seed quality? Can you give us sort of the 411 on that?
Yeah, on that we work together with the industry, closely with the industry, but also with governments. So both of the either governments or the industry can raise any issues which are important and like a challenge in the seed sector. And then our meeting will decide if we want to deal with this or is not important. But usually we deal with the cases. And we are really welcome industry help because they know exactly what will happen. So they see better than us in the headquarters what's going on in the seed market. So then the issue is approved as a project in the OECD seed scheme. We establish a small group of countries who are really involved and interested in that particular issue. And also we invite the private sector to give us the advice, like what's going on the market. And then this small group start to discuss that issue. And once they make an agreement, then we put forward this proposal to the technical committee, technical working group, and then the annual meeting. And then the government would make the final decision with consensus. But it's very important that the private sector is all the levels they are involved in the process, except the decision-making process. But I think our governments and delegates, they are reasonable and they take care about the interest of the private sector as well. So it's kind of a balanced process. And I think this is what makes the OECD certification system valuable and relevant for the seed industry. So that's why we are remaining in the business for the last 60 years.
I'm curious what challenges or opportunities you each see for seed certification in the coming years, and how you think an organization like CSGA can potentially be of help in that. I'll start with you, sir.
Sure. So I think there's a lot of opportunities coming up, and I think some of those are actually brought on by some of the work that CSGA is doing. One of those is with the digitalization, and Csaba can speak to that maybe a little bit more. But the other projects too are just the promotion of certified seed. They did a soft launch here of some of their new marketing campaigns, and I think that's exactly what we need in our industry to continue to advance what we do and to remain relevant within a seed sector that's very diverse all across all of our different countries. And so I see that CSGA playing a great, valuable role within that.
How about you?
Yeah, actually, we are very lucky with the CSGA representatives, Doug and Mike. in the seed sectors. First of all, we work very closely with CSGA on the digitalization of the OECD seed certification system. Doug presented their work, what they are doing in Canada in the digitalization, and then that was really like in line what we wanted to do. So we asked Doug to help us to prepare a feasibility study first, and now he's a CSGA, or Doug is a consultant for the secretariat when we are just moving forward with this digitalization process, which will be quite a similar system than the Canadian one. And I would like to mention also Mike Schaffel, who was a former Canadian delegate, and he's still acting like a memory of the group, and he can make a very useful comments in the meetings.
Sarah, what are some recent projects or developments undertaken by AOSCA that are really relevant for seed growers in Canada?
Sure. One of the biggest projects that we have finished phase one and are starting phase two. We didn't know there was going to be two phases of this project when we started. Is just looking at our standards and really giving our standards a deep dive to make sure that our standards are relevant, that they are applicable, that they are remaining true to the new technologies that are coming out. And so we took the last year and went through all of our standards and have started the revision on our standards book. And with that, all of our member agencies like CSGA abide by the minimum standards that AOSCA sets forth. And so therefore, there's some changes that have been voted in the last annual meeting that just wrapped up a couple weeks ago that will affect some of the crops that Canada certifies through our program. And so those are things for sure that Doug and his staff will get out to the Canadian growers.
Now, Csaba, you recently said that CSGA is driving many important strategic work projects of the OECD seed schemes, particularly the digitalization of OECD's seed varietal certification system. You said CSGA is also a key contributor to many standard-setting projects.
Yeah.
What makes CSGA such a valuable partner in OECD's mission?
Yeah, so as CSGA is close to the industry, they can help us to raise issues like on some standard setting is one of the good examples is hemp, where Canada is moving forward with the national hemp standards, and they gave us information how that can be raised on an international level. So that was very important, and I see that in the future any kind of national standardization activity would be getting information on that would be very helpful, because all of our standards starts on a national level, and then when it's moving smoothly on the national level, that's going up to the international level. So the CSGA play a key role in that, and we really appreciate that effort which they make to raise this kind of issues at the annual meetings. And also digitalization, I already mentioned that they work on the national digitalization of the national certification system, and we can learn from the experience of Canada, but also for other countries, to develop something international, which we like picking up the best practices from the countries, and that's what Mike and Doug and CSGA brings to us and help us to develop international standards.
Yeah, and CSGA is developing a digital seed tag. And there's been some misunderstanding around the world that this is now a requirement. And it's coming down the pipe, but digital seed tags are not yet mandatory in Canada. But I imagine the technology is going in the direction that's kind of where things are headed, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's very important for label security and traceability, also to combat fraud. So it's a lot of good things if we introduce a digital label, but it doesn't mean it will happen tomorrow. We have to wait a little bit, especially on the international level. We need a lot of tests that all of our member countries, they are able to implement a new regulation, and that would be an important change. So we have to be sure that all the countries, they are on the same wavelength and they are able to implement our rules. So that will happen, but it takes some time. The digital tag is in our plan in the next 2 years, that we would prepare a draft, and then it has to go to a pilot phase. So it takes a couple of years when it will be really implemented.
Sarah, before I let you go, you recently said, as a seed certification agency within AOSCA, that CSGA represents the largest international agency by acres within your association. You said CSGA plays an integral role serving on the board of directors, as you mentioned earlier, the advisory committee, numerous crop-specific committees. You noted that CSGA serves as a voice on standards harmonization between AOSCA and OECD member agencies. CSGA's Doug Miller, as you said, was just elected vice president of AOSCA. How does it benefit AOSCA to have Canada and CSGA specifically playing that role on the board?
Sure. I think it's of great benefit. I think having a key person like Doug and his forward-thinking approach has brought so much vigor into our board of directors. We're at a very pivotal point in AOSCA, and I think having someone with his forethought and his tenacity and his love for technology as well is something that we're really very fortunate to have, and we're really looking forward to continuing to utilize his knowledge to help advance the work that we're doing within our organization.
Definitely a lot happening here, lots of different groups involved with each other, so everybody's kind of partnering to make a better seed system. And so, thank you both for sitting down with me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.